Today's learning target is I can find the percent of increase and decrease. If we're looking to find the percent of change in a quantity, the way we do that is we're going to take the amount of the change and we're going to divide it by the original amount, and that will give us the percent of change. And the percent of change is always going to be either an increase or a decrease, because the quantity amount either changed and it became larger or it became less. So in this problem here it says find the percent of change from 60 degrees Fahrenheit to 84 degrees. And then we're going to state whether it's an increase or a decrease in percent change. So the first thing I need to do is find the amount of change. So when I look at this, I can see that the amount of change from 60 to 84 is going to be 24 degrees. Okay, oops, that's supposed to be a degree sign. And now I look at the original amount here. So I'm going to divide that by the original amount, and the original amount was 60 because it's going from 60 to 80. So 60 was the starting point. So I'm going to look at 24 degrees and I'm going to divide that by 60 degrees. And you can see when I divided that out, I got 4/10 here. And remember, 4/10, moving it to a decimal, I have to times it by 100. So I get 40%. So it would be a 40%, and it went from 60 degrees to 84. So it's 40 degrees increase is how I would write that. Another way you could write that is this way. You do a positive sign and 40 degrees, so that would be an increase of 40 degrees. If it was a decrease, you do a negative sign, just like that. In this problem here, Steve had $318 last month, and now he has $273. So I can already tell this is going to be a decrease. So to find the percent of change, I have to look at the amount change, which I did there. So it changed $45, and then divide that by the original amount. So he started with 318, so I'm dividing that by $318. So when I calculate this out right here, you can see I get a number that doesn't terminate, or it doesn't end. And so what I'm going to do is, I know that when I change a decimal to a percent, I have to times it by 100. So that would move this decimal 2 places to the right. So it becomes 14.15, and it goes on. And I'm going to round to the nearest tenth here. And so I'm going to look. The hundredths place tells me to round the tenth up, so my number, my percent, would be 14.2%, and I know that it's a decrease, right, because we went from a larger number to a smaller number. So to show that, I can either write the word decrease, or I can just put a negative sign, just like that. So in this problem here, it says find the selling price if a store pays $42 for a pair of rollerblades and the markup is 25%. Now, markup means this is going to be an increase, and I know 25% as a decimal is 0.25 or 25 hundredths. So if I were to take the $42 and times it by this markup, 25% or 25 hundredths, that's going to show me how much of a markup there would be. So when I do that problem, $42 times 25 hundredths, I get $10.50. So that's going to be my markup. Now, they're asking me what's the selling price. So I'm going to need to add this $10.50 to this $42. So I can do that mentally. So I know that $42 plus $10.50 is going to give me $52.50. And so that would be my answer.